This is the Above the Corner podcast.
Come on!
Good evening, citizens of Earth.
Let's get it.
Citizens of Earth's origin, or any other planet in the solar system.
Chef Ron and Tay come together to bring you real-life experiences. That's right, we touch on everything from life itself, entrepreneurship, family, business, finance, and so much more. We going above it all, baby.
Another job well done.
All right, fellas, let's get to it.
Yo, what's up, y'all? It's your boy Chef Ron the Great, aka the Corner Store Chef, aka the biggest speaker in the 7-5, and we back with yet another edition of Above the Corner podcast. Got a very, very special guest. We got my man, Mr. Nostalja himself, Tony McCRAVEN. Tony, what's going on, brother?
Peace, brother.
Peace. Glad to have you here, man.
Same,
Yeah. How you doing and all that?
I'm good, man. Been trying to catch up with you.
Yeah, it's
brother.
been a minute.
Nah.
You know, everything happened when it's supposed to.
Exactly.
Yeah. So go ahead and introduce yourself. Tell the people who you are and all that.
Peace, love, and light, man. My name is Tony McCRAVEN, CEO of Nostalja, director of a nonprofit called Gumbo, and soon to be author of a book called Caterpillars Don't Hang with Butterflies.
Yeah. I remember you sent me the email, like, I want to say it was last year, maybe the year before.
Yeah, it was some time ago.
Little preface.
Yeah, it's been a journey.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. How was it transitioning? You know, because us as entrepreneurs, we wear many hats.
Mm-hmm.
So how was it transitioning from what you do? We're gonna get into what you do
Yeah.
to say I want to be an author now.
Just being a grown man, but having the opportunity to be a kid again. To be honest, being able to do whatever I desire to do and not have to ask nobody to do it. Just being brave enough to do whatever I think is cool at that time, man.
Right.
And I think it's a gift for me to have the confidence to do it and just wanting to do it, man.
Right.
I really can't put no special word to it. Just being able to get up, being a kid again, and doing whatever I desire to do, and maybe be able to help somebody, change somebody in the process, to be honest.
Yeah, and that freedom comes with entrepreneurship.
Yeah. You gotta make it.
Yeah, you gotta make it. You gotta make it, but it comes with it if you can fit it in there. So tell the people, explain to the people what nostalgia is, because everybody might not know.
Well, nostalgia by definition is a wishful thinking of the past.
Okay.
By a touch, a taste, a smell, anything. For example, you cook, right?
Right.
And your grandmother may have some recipe or whatever the case may be. And let's say you surprise a family member that used to eat with your grandmother and they smell it. And it brings back memories of nostalgia,
right.
Soul food. It's just, or someone smell, you got some cologne or oil on or whatever the case may be, and they smell it away from you. Like say somebody else, or they smell it just when they're just not around, and they smell it, they think of you. That's a nostalgic thought. I mean, it doesn't have to be typically a glamorous or a happy feeling, but it's a feeling of the past. So
right.
I want you to, for nostalgia, the brand, I want you to go back into your prime. It can be when you're 40, it can be when you're 16. I just want you to feel confident about where you are, and that's the whole brand of nostalgia itself. But I got stuck in the product realm.
Okay.
And I don't know, and I'm in the process now of shifting out of that, but that's where we at right now.
So explain that, what you mean. You said you got stuck in the product realm.
So I got stuck in the product realm as when you think of nostalgia, you think of a cosmetic product.
Right.
You don't think of a brand. When I sit back in this room by myself, I'm thinking of a whole brand. But
right.
when people bring it to conversation or bring it to light about what I do, the only thing that they see the light is the product.
The butter.
Right.
Okay.
But I had to learn, I can't worry about how people associate to my brand. It's like Nike. Some people may look at Nike and look at the shoe. Me, I look at the philanthropy part of Nike, the business side.
Right.
So however anybody attach themselves to me, I just have to accept it. But I'm now learning different ways with, marketing help and stuff like that, trying to shift my thought process to the masses. Pretty much what you're doing here, man.
Yeah.
Just put the visual or, being able to pinpoint what it is. But for the masses, nostalgia is just simply a product, but it's way bigger than that, bro.
Right.
Way
and
bigger.
I see that in the brand, because you got you also got you do the clothing as well. You got the Shout out to my boy, got me the good nostalgia cap.
Yeah.
I be seeing you be doing the sweatpants and the ladies' clothing and all that.
But the thing is, for the most part, I do it for myself though.
Okay.
Once again, it's just one of them things where I can't walk around with soap in my hand all day.
Right.
So the only way I can
bring attention to yourself is to be the brand.
Be the brand.
Gotcha.
And that's another thing that can be difficult at times, being the brand.
Right.
It's easy to be the brand, but now you got responsibility because you got social responsibilities in a sense. So it's like a catch-22, man.
Yeah.
It's easy because you're being who you are every day, but when you in the limelight or when you in a position where you can be judged or you have peers, it's perspective, bro. So
yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, and I definitely get that because like I remain in character at all times. Like shout out Chef Dro. She had she released a shirt in green yesterday.
The Wu-Tang.
Yeah.
Medium.
I'm like, yo, please tell me you got it in blue. She like, Chef, does everything have to be in blue?
Seen this.
Yeah, everything got to be in blue. I gotta remain in character at all times. Like you said, people might see me out at the grocery store. They might see me out at the state fair with my kids or something. You see that blue LA hat, you see a blue t-shirt walking, you gonna know it's
symbolism.
Me. Yeah, you gonna know it's me from a mile away.
Facts.
So, where did the thought process come from, Nostalja, and what year was it created?
Okay, when you say the thought process as brand or as in how I figure out how
you created it?
It was three things. I was sitting at home, I was working. I ain't gonna name the company. I was working, and my goal was to simply be there a year to find a way for them to let me go, to retain unemployment.
Okay.
To sustain.
Okay.
So this was the business plan.
You were strategically trying to get fired.
Mr. EP, that's his name, EP. If you find any reason to let me go, please don't do me any favors. This is a quote. Please don't do me any favors. Because I was struggling to maintain at my job, but me living in Mississippi where I was, if I was able to collect unemployment, I was able to sustain better than I was working.
Right.
And potentially do something that I wanted to do. And I was also in school for nursing. Don't make it seem like I wasn't doing, completely nothing.
Right.
So the opportunity came. He let me go. I was able to collect unemployment with the extra money that I didn't pay my rent with. I invested in myself, in the business. The name Nostalja has always been in my vocabulary based off of a situation with my pops. Cool story. He was having a conversation with a young lady. He always used metaphors. He's like, well, I want to take you to a place of nostalgia.
Okay.
I was a young kid, so he's not going to say what he really want to say. Me being a man now, I get it. But I just attacked. I was like, what that mean? And he broke it down by definition. I'm like, okay. At the time, I still didn't know. But I knew I didn't want to work for anybody. But that word right there always stuck with me.
Okay.
No matter what I was doing, my business was going to be called Nostalja because it fit. It could have been flipping burgers. I want to be the best burger spot that you ever been to back in the Gap.
Right.
Like it just the story just fit. So the reason why I chose cosmetics, the three major industries in the world is gasoline, electricity, cosmetics, and then you have cleaning supplies, then food. So you on the market in the top five.
Top five, okay.
I don't have enough money to supply anybody with electricity.
Facts.
Don't know nobody in the oil industry. I can do cosmetics, mix some of this country stuff up. My grandma taught me, make you feel, smell good, and you're good to go.
Okay.
So that's where I stuck in the cosmetic realm. And that's really how I went about looking at I was looking at Animal Planet, and in my theory, I think every business in my mind should have some kind of character. Okay. I didn't want to be the forefront, which I am not, where we are now, but I still had to try to find some kind of symbolism, so people can attach to it. I went to the elephant. The reason why I chose the elephant, if you were blind, they say three blind men was touching the elephant. One touched the tusk, he'll say it's smooth and hard. Mm-hmm. One touched the body, rough and wide, tail skinny and hairy. They all are 1,000% correct, but different perspective. So I chose the elephant because it's a spiritual animal, and also you can have a different perspective of what you feel good, what brings your confidence back, we all right. Mm-hmm. So that's really the gist, man. The word, the elephant, and put everything together with the cosmetics. I can sell to the stripper, the preacher, or the nurse.
Right.
Continuously. So that was the thought process from a nutshell, man, from unemployment to self-employed.
That's what's up. And it's crazy that you said, you got the word from your father, because the brand, which by definition, the brand itself even takes you back to your childhood. So that's dope.
I ain't never link it that way, but
that's dope.
Legit,
that's real dope. So what year did you take off?
2015 is when I started. It was when I bought my first mixer. Everything was 2015 in Gulfport, Mississippi, man.
Okay.
In the kitchen, dude.
Making everything by hand yourself.
In the kitchen, man. Making all this. I had this brick of shea butter when I first started, man. The maintenance man walked in,
He thought it was that raw. He thought you had a brick of raw.
Man, yeah, true story,
yeah.
bro. So, but yeah, 2015, Mississippi.
Okay. And what were some of the struggles of, really, really taking off? Because very rare somebody pops as soon as they start, especially with entrepreneurship.
Of course, like the regular, let's say the regular wear and tear of entrepreneurship, just feeling like anybody gonna support you,
right.
Feeling like your friends and family and things like that. Not sure, is this the right thing to do? Like I said, 2015, I personally didn't know a lot of legitimate self-employed people.
Right.
I grew up around a lot of hustlers in that sort, but never anyone with a lot of legit self-employment business.
Right.
I forgot the question, brother, that fast.
I said, what was...
the hard part.
Yeah.
So, not having that support, the aspect of, be self-employed, work for yourself. Then my friends over here are working for themselves, but at the same time, it ain't the type of self-employment that I'm going for.
Right.
So I didn't have any guidance. And being in Mississippi, the resources are very limited.
Okay.
So that was a struggle. Finances was a struggle at first, but once I learned the profit margin and the scaling like we spoke about early on. And once again, I had the beautiful aspect of the unemployment that started me off that was kind of helping me. But other than that, it was really no hard struggle. It was more mental. More mental than financial. Fighting with yourself and feeling like you're doing this shit on your own.
Yeah.
That was my hardest, I would say, my hardest fight. And even to the day, just feeling like you don't have that everything all together at one time as an entrepreneur. Just nerve-wracking for real.
Right. Yeah. And, one thing that stood out to me, you said, you basically learned everything on your own. Mm-hmm. It was nobody, not only were there no entrepreneurs in your area, mm-hmm. there were, but they were street entrepreneurs.
Right.
Cosmetics is a predominantly woman-based business, correct?
I would think so, yes, and that was a good thing for me. But like I said, I didn't know anybody in the cosmetic realm. Of course, I know girls who braided hair, but I don't think I knew anyone that provided a product at the time. And even now, I don't know too many men that is in it. I think that's an edge for me,
right? To
be honest,
right.
But yeah.
So that where I was going with that is, you didn't even have nobody anybody to even look to for guidance. So you really got yours out the mud by yourself.
When I tell you, like I said, I broke down what realm I wanted to go into. Mm-hmm. YouTube was my favorite, was my best teacher. I'm a YouTube graduate every other day, bro.
Right.
So that was the YouTube, and I had bought a essential oil book. And then, like I said, just remedies from my grandmother being down south, mixing stuff together, and that was my recipe. And from that, just being consistent is what really shifted everything. Man.
Okay. Yeah. So what brought you from Mississippi?
Yeah, originally.
Okay. So what brought you to Virginia?
My pops was military.
Okay.
And I was just floating back and forth. to be honest. I think I came, been here long enough to know my way around. But I originally moved back to Virginia because of resources, as in networking.
Right.
People like you that are moving and grooving. Not saying that they're not doing that back home, but we have a lot more resources on the peninsula than I would on the coast of where I'm from.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because I think the first time I bought some body butter from you was in Mississippi still.
Yep.
You hadn't even made it your way back here yet.
Nope.
So at what point did you know I'm not going back to work?
Well, I knew at a young age I didn't want to work for anyone, so that was always the goal. That was always the plan. The mission always changed, but the plan don't.
Right.
So I guess when I got to it, when I got to AT&T, which I didn't say who I worked for. I worked for AT&T call center, man, and I was a number.
Right.
You know, nobody, they don't know who you are individually, and I just didn't feel appreciated. I think anyone, as long as they feel appreciated, they'll be there. Because at one point, I want to employ
right.
people. So I don't never want to put that narrative that it's not good to work, to work. I'm not saying that by any means, but personally for me, I just wasn't appreciated. And
right.
I can't give you the best of me if I'm not appreciated. So who's gonna appreciate me better than I appreciate myself?
Fact.
So that was really the only narrative. I come here, I give these people all my time, all my energy. At that point, I wasn't mature enough not to bring my personal mind, my personal emotions to work.
To work,
meaning
right.
If I'm having a bad day at home, I'm bringing it to work.
Yeah.
Right. So vice versa. So I wanted to delete all that and just pretty much cater to my mental health, and self-employment was supposed to help my mental health, but but that's really what it was, man. I just didn't feel appreciated, and I wanted to feel appreciated where I was and where I am. Okay. So
your story is kind of similar to mine when you went into entrepreneurship. Did you have any safety net at all?
None. My homegirl, Keisha Roberts, thank you, at Salon, at Flawless Hair Studios, sent me my first $300, man. And she was like, Tony, I believe in you. Here.
Okay.
And my homegirl, Karen Miller, sent me $60. So I had $360. That was it. I spent that $360, and of course I didn't know how to scale and marginalize back then, but I'm here where I'm at now. So I did something in the line of that, but yeah, I started with nothing. Two of my friends that believed in what I was doing invested in me, and they still believe in what I'm doing today, bro. Like,
that's what's up.
They tap in.
Yeah, I feel like, if you talk to different entrepreneurs, they say I need 6 months or 12 months on reserve, to live my lifestyle,
right,
and all this and that. But like I said, your story is similar to mine. I was thrown to the wolves. I was fired as well. Like, literally, I had to start selling plates to start gathering rent money for the next month.
Right.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So, it intrigues me on people's story.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? How to, like I said, some people need a safety net, some people get thrown to the wolves. And at the end of the day, most of the people that we bring on here have made it. So
let me ask you a question then.
Yes.
Because I think it's interesting too how people start or whatever, but I got a homeboy now just started entrepreneurship, like soul entrepreneurship in a sense.
Okay.
And it's a different type of fire when you don't have no other choice.
That's a fact.
It's cool when it's a hobby and you working somewhere.
Yep.
Yeah, I do this on the job. Okay, yeah, but once you let that security go and you to the wolves, you gonna figure it out.
Yeah.
Entrepreneurship don't come as hard when you gotta figure it out, but then you quote unquote, you start scaling. Well, if I buy this for this, I need to try to make this. If that's costing me too much, I'm not gonna use this service here. That's scaling in itself, and you'll do that 10 times better if you know you got a bill to pay with no check coming. You know? So you use it as motivation or
you can let it hinder you. Yeah.
Yeah, pick one.
So let's get into Gumbo.
Gumbo, yes sir.
Tell the people what's going on. What is Gumbo and what's going on with it?
Gumbo is a nonprofit where we specialize in entrepreneurship for the youth.
Okay.
Currently, right now, this is like I've never done this before, so we're really just transitioning and learning everything as we go, to be transparent and honest. the goal of Gumbo is to pretty much teach more than just entrepreneurship in itself. Like anybody can, run a business, but this is more so finding out who you are and creating a space in your neighborhood for employment. And once you're your employer or you're employing people in your neighborhood, then you take better care of your neighborhood, because now you've built this quote unquote community. Because if I sell bread and you're a mechanic here and I sell toothpaste or toothbrushes here, we all are in the same niche cycle. We need one another. We're not going to allow any negativity or anything to come in to interfere with that. So it's not just me teaching entrepreneurship skills. I want to teach you this skill that you take back to your neighborhood and you flourish from there, and it's a cycling thing. So that's the whole narrative of what Gumbo is. And if you're familiar with the food, it's a poor man's meal. So if you got beans in a community-based meal too, I don't want to say a poor man's meal. There's quote unquote high fashion now, but in history, you got beans, I got rice, you just got the third. We all put in the same pot, and we gonna make it work. So that's the whole story behind Gumbo. We building and putting our resources together. And you can be from different backgrounds, but if you're in my neighborhood and you're in my community, you kind of understand what I go through. Right. So we're going to put this thing in the middle. We're going to brew it up, man, and make it work, bro. Feed the community, not only with, actual, food, but with information, with culture, financial literacy, and things like that. And it's harder to run a nonprofit than I thought. But like I said, I'm learning and as I go. So that's what we're doing with that, man.
Okay. Yeah. What was the drive behind that?
Wishing I had the mentorship, wishing I would have started this back then. Imagine if we would have been selling anything in high school consistently. Yeah. Like you could have been making sandwiches, bro. Yeah. Sandwiches, plain peanut butter, anything consistently to now.
Yeah, the following would be crazy. Because you started your track record. You know what I mean? The proof is in the pudding at that point.
Consistency. Yeah. Consistent. You'll be a household name, bro.
Yeah, that's a fact.
And that's what the kids are doing with, the sports and stuff now. They're getting that following at a young age. They're really learning how to sell themselves and be what they're choosing they path, I think, earlier than what we were in the aspect of, I don't want to work, I want to do this or do that, and they find a way to do it with technology. You know what I mean? Okay. Yeah.
What's you got anything going on coming up for Gumbo?
Currently now we just working on the website, getting all the verbiage together, just so we can express and raise money, things of that nature. We're still working on this 9-week program. In the midst of, basically, we take 9 children, 9 weeks. We teach them the entrepreneurship skills, social media, social responsibility, things of that nature. Because as an entrepreneur, you still have social responsibility. So those are some of the things that we're teaching. We're still, like I said, new with everything and taking bits and pieces from here and there. So I can't really give you a concrete on everything. And I hate the fact that I'm not prepared in that aspect, but it's evolving because we're all changing and learning as we go. But the gist of it is entrepreneurship and just starting start from within and work our way out versus trying to work out and come in the middle.
Right. And this is good. You said you're upset that you're not more prepared, but it's good though, because when Gumbo takes off, they can come back and watch this.
I failed more than I won, but I guess I'm learning off the failures too. So, right. Well, yeah, I didn't slap myself in the face many times on just bad business decisions. Not saying it's not, or decisions period, and thinking that it's good, but not having that, clarity. So that's an issue too.
Yeah. But so I want to get a little more personal with you.
Yeah.
You got how many sons you got?
3.
You got 3 sons.
16, 15, and 11.
Them all the kids you got?
All the ones I got.
Okay. How important is fatherhood to you? Was your father in your life?
Yes. Okay. I grew up in a single parent home with my father growing up as a jit. Yeah.
So I already know I'm gonna ask you anyway, but
Yeah.
how important is it for fatherhood for you to be in your son's lives?
For me, it's very important. It's a priority, and a lot of times I fight with myself because I got 3 boys, and I try to find ways to cater to them individually, and
Right.
and it's difficult sometimes. They're different,
Right.
completely. But me being a young father, it's easier for me. Let me say that it's
Yeah.
easier because I'm only 33. We listen to the same thing and all of that.
Yep.
In a sense. So fatherhood is important to me, but I'm running around the question. I'm trying to.
Nah, do your thing. Do your thing.
Fatherhood to me is very, very important. And to be honest, that's the reason why I started this business. Not for them to necessarily work up under me, but for them to kind of learn who their father was in the midst of what he did for the world, in a sense. If that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah.
I can tell you all day, or we can have conversations, me and my children, they can tell you how I personally interact with them, but I want to show them that the core of me by what I do to the world, by
Right.
my philanthropy and things like that. So fatherhood is very important when it comes to just confidence, man. For me, I teach my kids confidence. Always look a man in the eye.
Mm-hmm.
I can't even answer it enough. Like my kids why I do any of this stuff that we talking about, man.
Right.
Because I got to take care of my home before I can impute to the world anyway. But I keep running around. To simply answer your question, yeah, fatherhood is very, very important to me, bro. Like I can't tell you the I can't even put it in words, but you got y'all. I can't put it in words, man.
I got you.
Legit.
So, you mentioned being a young father, and I feel like, that's something we have the upper hand with because we're still more in tune with what they got going on.
Fact. Shout out to Keisha Roberts at Flawless Hair Studios. Shout out to Karen Miller, Hair by Miller. And shout out to anybody who supported Nostalja, supported Gumbo, and just simply imputing and stimulating me and supporting me. I really appreciate it.
Yes, absolutely. We're going to drop the link at the bottom, in the caption on YouTube. We're going to have the Nostalja website. Support this brother. The brand is amazing. The products are amazing. I've personally used damn near everything. I love it. My wife loves it. She don't love nothing. So that lets you know something right there. Shout out to Yad the Don over at Flea Gods. This week's drips, I got the Flea God Apparel. This was actually the Black History Month edition of the Flea Gods. But we don't allocate our history to 1 month, so I'm gonna wear it whenever I want to. Shout out to Nostalja on the drip as well with the Nostalja hat. Run over to the website, grab any and everything you see. Listen, man, if you knew better, you do better. You get with a chef in a blue sweater. Put God first, everything else gonna follow. Head up, chest out, run your laps. It's Above the Corner Podcast, and we out. 1.